into an ideologically cautious and pro-people force. That has become vanguard for the people's safety, dignity, humanity, and well-being, where discipline is part and parcel of being UPDF. Discipline is now our way of life, leave alone the isolated cases of indiscipline but which we don't condone and we keep on working on them. Thirdly, Your Excellency, I thank you for directing and guiding that the UPDF embarks on preparing for a state burial for Brigadier Okoya. And to personally indicate that you would officiate at the burial. This is when you were informed by my predecessor, General David Muhozi. Some years back, when he was approached by one of the Kerikwaros in this place here, which, Rot Yusuf. Your Excellency, although it has taken long, due to unavoidable circumstances, we are happy to have effectively concluded Your Excellency's guidance after taking a series of preliminary activities. First of all, when we set the preparatory committee, which has today delivered the function successfully, led by General Otema Awany. Lieutenant General Charles Otema Awany. When they visited this place after your instructions, they have found there was nowhere to conduct this kind of and then we found other cultural issues. And so the first thing we did was to sponsor them to put between the Palaro and Lamogi Pojwan clans for cultural blood cleansing. Between the Palaro clan, where Brigadier Okoya came from, and then the suspected killer, Lieutenant Raymond Oriem, who is said to have come from the Lamogi Pujwani. And because we found that there was no house for the family, sir, for compassionate reasons, we've put a family house, solar powered, and connected by water, which is got from the ground. We have an external toilet, and we have put two other taps which the village around can pick water from. All this done by our engineers brigade.
engineering brigade for UPDF
at a very cost-effective price. Just 200 million shillings only.
1 million yo can teach to mo.
If you had given somebody a contract,
I
am told it would have taken some not less than 350
million.
The second thing third thing was to construct the graves. We also are responsible for organizing this reception you are seeing here. But we were helped by the indigenous people here who gave us 10 cows also, commonly called the Balaru, but who have integrated within the family here. And today, sir, we are burying our gallant son with the military honors of an 11 guns. At the rank of a brigadier, he's entitled to an 11-gun salute. So for those who have had problems when we hear things blow, don't think LRA has come back. We also conducted talk shows in relation to the ideological refocus. This was done by the CPC, the Chief of Civil Military Corporation, and the defense spokesperson. From what I hear, the population is really very, very happy. I therefore want to take this opportunity once again to thank the preparatory committee chaired by Lieutenant General Otema for the tremendous work done. I also want to thank the people of Palaro, the people of Gulu, and generally the people of northern Uganda, and everybody who has come to witness this reburial, for the support you have rendered to us in honoring our gallant son to ensure a befitting resting place. During my secondary school days, I remember there was a Christian religious education studies textbook, The Christian Living Today, where there was a famous statement that the dead are not dead. Therefore, to us in the military and any other civilized society, we remember the dead for so many reasons. As doing so unearths lessons from their lives to guide us in the present. Before you came, the bishop mentioned this. And as such, remembering the departed is our venerable tradition as Africans. And it is important because we remember the dead to mourn them. By the way, mourning is also biblical. Because Abraham mourned the loss of his wife Sarah. This is in Genesis chapter 23 verse 2. Jacob mourned Joseph because he was the favored son that he thought he had lost. We also remember the dead to honor them, like we are honoring our gallant son here. We remember the dead to know our story and history. Because people who don't know their history, they are a lost community. We remember the dead to gain wisdom. This is wisdom from their own actions or even from their lives they led and how they died. And how they died. You've heard all the good things that they talked about late Brigadier Okoya. We remember the dead to avoid the mistakes. And we remember the dead to seek justice. Sometimes we need to remember the dead because of the injustice committed against them and the lingering effects on those of us still living. I remember one of the letters coming to my office from, I think, the Kerikwaro or something like that, when he was saying that the spirits of these dead people are not stable. Because we have not done the matoputu. And that is because of the way that they were brutally killed. Now, and because vengeance is not ours, according to Deuteronomy, it is our responsibility to act justly. And that is the reason why we sponsored the Matoputu. Your Excellency, before I conclude, let me state that Brigadier Okoya was a citizen whose input made the nation reach and cross a critical threshold. Of transitioning from the colonial administration to independence, and we think that had he lived, continued to live, he would now probably be a repository for our military history. Also, we realize that centuries have given many men the measure up to standard of greatness. He has given us many men worth of a place in the temple of fame. Many men of valor, many of brilliant attainments, and many of splendid virtues. Brigadier Okoya was one of the few among such people. And that's why I think Your Excellency accepted that we honor him with full. That we honor him with full military honors during his reburial. The African wisdom cautions that we live this life on the basis of legacies.
udo ingewa nyoje mabedo magitiyo.
Because life is the beginning of death.
Tien ko aya chek ko ayero ngachek metoni.
And since no one will ever live forever,
Donc bien petit ngar mo ba bi ber tar gi
then each one of us should leave a legacy.
donc we wan du mo wati lobo mir wo wet nying mabe.
Put a stamp on the present
Ket stamp mamiri ikuni mekarne.
in order to make a contribution to the future generations.
We ko tien wa ma dir ma wo binwalo. Gunong riao ki kom dir mabejo stamp ini kere lobo kan.
And I think Brigadier Okoya did that.
Atamune man brigade ko yoti mukakare.
To the finally,
Donc ma gitene bot won otto.
and all the mourners gathered here, Romans chapter 8, verse 38 and 39 tells us that nothing can separate us from the love of our God, and that when we are faced with calamity or even death, it is far from the thought that God has abandoned us. So, the bereaved family, we continue to pray for you, that God continues to comfort you, because blessed are those who mourn, for the Lord will comfort them. May the Lord God Almighty bestow the late Brigadier and Mrs. Okoya with all the full grace that abounds in his realm. May their soul rest in eternal peace. For God and my country.
Thank you, Menolopa, Chief of Defense Force.
Your Excellency, with that rich scripture,
that is President, we
request now you allow us to invite Honorable Keloriam.
Honorable Keloriam.
No, correction, the area member of parliament.
Oh, sorry, Tim Kicha, Conqueror area member of parliament, Honorable Simon. Maybe you can look at the president.
Because there is a lot of grass here, he has to be told.
Why, Daddy Bo, where we take a medal,
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda.
That is President, Uganda.
The Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable Windolo.
That is Justice Windolo.
The Right Honorable Richard Todwong, the Secretary General of the Mighty Party NRM.
That is Secretary General, Party NRM.
The Cabinet and State Ministers in the government.
Minister
Colleagues, members of Parliament. My Lord, the Archbishop John Baptist Odama and Bishop Sabino Dore.
Archbishop John Baptist Odama, all the chiefs, the clan chiefs, with your numbers present here.
Your Excellency, the protocol is long. I would kindly request that General Bad allow me to step on you, the protocol that you laid. Your Excellency, I am Wagorach Simon Peter, the Member of Parliament representing Achua in the 11th Parliament of the Republic of Uganda.
President Anya Honorable Wagorach Simon Peter, MP Matikachung Pilwak Macha County.
By the grace of God, I'm also the Deputy Secretary General of Acholi Parliamentary Group in this Parliament.
la church madit pa NPs dutu me actually.
On this day, Your Excellency, my message is only structured on 3 key areas.
La dit president ini yang machalo kitini lok mamara tiyo chung kum guri areo atek ken.
Introduction,
Nyuto
message of gratitude,
ki poch
and a bit of reminder, Your Excellency,
ki bena me kono wi
to you and to the government.
machalo kamente.
Permit me, Your Excellency, to begin by introducing the RDCs who are here with you.
Anyut RDC dutu magiti kan.
If you could step forward, there are few, Your Excellency.
La dit president pegit wong tutuan.
On my immediate right, Your Excellency, we have Onyuk Andrew, who is the RDC of Omoro District.
Andro nyok NAT RDC me moro maraya.
Your Excellency, we have my RDC, the RDC of Gulu, Ichogoro Ismail.
Ichoko Ismail NAT RDC me Gulu district.
Charles.
Charles.
Your Excellency, we have the whip of the, actually, sub-region RDC. My brother Ocheng Osborne, who is now caretaking Lamour District.
Osborne Ocheng NAT la Norway RDC me actually sub-region.
My brother Cosmas is the deputy RDC of Gulu District.
Cosmas NAT deputy RDC me Gulu district.
Thank you. No.
Apoy mata.
Your Excellency, we also have Uganda here.
La dit president
My brother
wakita
Udoj
kita
Olak.
American.
My brother Udoj Olak, who is the coordinator.
My NRM coordinator.
If you could wave.
Antika Moti.
Thank you.
Apoy mata Udoj Olak.
Within my means,
Maluka kikerna.
I can only introduce the colleagues members of parliament,
Uye na da nyut.
when we are together in the 11th parliament of this country.
Mawati kegi parliament na pawe chien.
I am going to inspire one special woman, Honorable Ake Sharon Bamoy, will stay back as the rest move forward.
Do alego. Honorable. American to Honorable Segoni.
Your Excellency, because of time, you'll permit me to take this opportunity to introduce them myself.
Yeah, I don't pichawa ayda nyuti.
Your Excellency, the tall one is Honorable Cole Anthony.
Mabone Honorable call Anthony.
He is our chairman of Acholi Parliamentary Group,
NAT chairman Macho.
and he represents the people of Kilak North in this parliament.
Mati Amoro.
Now I am, you're scared, the Jero is scaring me. How can I introduce the Jero?
Donc ala ta onyo to jero ne njana.
Your Excellency, with us in this occasion, we have Honorable Catherine Lamwaka,
Watikanki Honorable Catherine.
who is also, who is a woman member of parliament for Moro District.
NT command Moro district.
Your Excellency, have very powerful people and they are in parliament of the 11th parliament.
Donc la dit president la tik terra madon magiti wati kweki
I
parliament.
also thank this opportunity because I'm going to introduce the general. I've never introduced the general.
Ando abi charo ka to general long di kom.
Your Excellency, we have General Honorable Mbade, who is a CDF of a very mighty UPDF.
Kanki Honorable General Badi and the la choga we mon.
And he is a member of parliament representing UPDF in the 11th parliament.
La member parliament.
We sit with them in the
Matumpi
parliament.
UPDF.
Your Excellency, we have General Masiko Henry.
Watiki General Henry Masiko.
He represents UPDF in the 11th parliament.
MBT la member parliament. The parliament.
Your Excellency, you are also here with Honorable Dr. Alanyo Jennifer,
Wati Berki Honorable Dr. Alani Jennifer.
our own from Acholi.
Man Latin Nyawaki Koma.
She represents UPDF in the 11th parliament.
NT Chungpi UPDF parliament ma power chen.
With lot of honor, you can go back, General.
Donc tu war madip ay legu do dog non kaberu.
Your Excellency,
The president
I am too much humbled.
andong ker na tumo ko kombete. Amol lego.
I am too much grateful for today's function.
Ya yom tutwal pe yom matin tiga timekan.
I would like to thank you in a special way
Amita pui
for choosing the 29th of this day,
me yer ni yirubu wen matin ni
this year,
ane ni
that you will come and sit in Palaro.
Wet in the pit, people are in coming.
We are too grateful, Your
You
Excellency.
are young, Muppet, where are the president?
Your Excellency,
The president,
just a little reminder, Your Excellency.
man don't matter me poi we man now.
As actually,
Machalo what please?
there were people who could have been here to celebrate and see the reburial of General Okoya.
Paul no me tin ku bet kan.
Unfortunately, because of God's decision, we were unable to make them come and be with us.
Ito pe angola mo kaya mapat.
One of them was very special in our lives. His Right Honorable Jacob Olanya.
Ngarachen maparong bet kedwa kan ere liele je ko.
From actually parliamentary group, we used to call him Lawia Wobe.
I parliament kin one MPs ma chono waluwa ni la wiya wobe.
He is not here anymore with you, Your Excellency.
Donc en come pe kin wakan.
One of them is General Okage,
Donc watie be ki jero lokej.
who could have been here to see that his comrade being reburied.
Men no kit ma umia na ki yoko kwere.
Your Excellency, General Okage is no longer here with you.
La di president lokej donc pe bene.
General Kera Julius
Jero Julius okera bene
is no longer here with you.
donc pe kan.
Let Kado Walter Ochora Dodge
Liele Walter Chora Dodge
is no longer here with you, Your Excellency.
donc bene ko ne pe kan.
Mayasato Court Lapolo, you Kada, you deployed for several
Ara
functions.
mamere ara de si mamere.
No longer here with you, Your Excellency.
En be donc ko na ruin.
With this, Your Excellency, I can request
Donc
that as
man
we
alegi
rebury General Pierino Okoya Yere and his dear wife, if we could stand and rise up for a small minute of saying thank you for what they have done to this country.
donc walego da.
Why you man look we were poor picho wa mangoporo.
Duchu to tian wa mako ge ruin. Madam. Pida ke kachien. Alegi la di president.
May their souls raise eternal peace.
Amen. Waberu
Oyo,
pe.
wait, wait.
Let us sit down.
This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in Him, and be glad in Him. Oh, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in Him. Oh, this is the day that the Lord has made. Indeed, Your Excellency, this is the day that the Lord has made.
This president mana ni mala twit no ro yubo.
For so many occasions, we were organizing for this day, but they kept on flopping. Today is the day. And we are the people to celebrate the life and the good deeds that our comrade did. And you are the president, Your Excellency, that the Lord has made to see that this rebuttal take place, regardless of whatever had transpired before you, Your Excellency. You are the president. So we celebrate and we celebrate your leadership. As the people of Aswa, Your Excellency, allow me to put forward some few reminders. Your Excellency, in 2015, when you delegated the Honorable Minister Jim Wezi, by then he was still the Minister for National Guidance. The Honorable Minister went to represent you in Paecho Parish, in Gulu Archdiocese, where he made a pledge on your behalf, Your Excellency, of 65 million to finish the church parish. And the parish priest is here. Your Excellency, I reminded you during the first caucus meeting in this 11th Parliament at Chankwazi. I have written documents, Your Excellency. I am happy you are here today, Your Excellency. On that same caucus, Your Excellency, I made mention about our road. The road which connects the people of Gulu City is called Pierino Road to the mall and connects us to South Sudan. Your Excellency, I remember vividly that you told us in the caucus meeting that road, I have the history. That was the place where Becca camped. And it's very juicy for tourism.
Ini wajom kamalengi caucus meeting ni. Yoni ini tiki history mabe. Bien. Sa Samuel Becca ubiru uberi Fort Pateo. Mabere yoni ini kage yo mabe. Kero don lobo nyo lemi chimilwa. Mano wele mabiru kalimo pay biru.
Your Excellency, this road is going to ease the trade from South Sudan, Lamore, and the rest of this part of the country to City and to Kampala. One of the things, Your Excellency, that we report, that Gulu being the only one constituency district, which is very huge in size and very huge in population, Your Excellency. Be carved into two so that we can send members of parliament and provide services to our people in Aswa. Your Excellency, Gulu district still have only one health center for. It's a district, but with the health center for called a white health center for.
Machalo district bene pero mo ken mati en watiki health center for keken wapeki hospital.
In that discussion, Your Excellency, I remember putting forward that if we can elevate to the district hospital because we are now a district.
Donc ankero lega na bene mecha borini katwere ki konwa ki yilwampa health center for ma white o doke district hospital.
I don't want to ask for any health facility. In the memories of this, in the memory of this day. But Your Excellency, we have health center 3s. One of them is the Boromo health center 3. And Your Excellency, you guided us that if we could elevate all these health centers and make it to health center 4, and we have a doctor who sits and monitor and provide services to our people. Lastly, Your Excellency, we have people who hail from this clan. They are always cut off. There is a stream called Waterboard. Waterboard, which is only a kilometer from where we are, Your Excellency. The majority of this population sits beyond that stream. Your Excellency, when it rains, our children do not access schools. When it rains, the people from the other side don't close to this side. I can request Your Excellency. You are our father. You have demonstrated. And the spirit in you is like the spirit in God. When you are asked for a fish, Your Excellency, you provide fish. When you are asked for the bread, you provide bread. But not the stone, not the lizard. That is the spirit that God has. That is exactly the spirit that God has. And Your Excellency, I am very humble and I know as a father, with the spirit of God, our prayers will be answered during this time. Finally, Your Excellency, we have the Women's League of Palaro. The women on yellow. If you could rise up, the women on yellow.
Of Palaro Sub-County. Women's League.
Your Excellency, they have a simple and unrememberable time with you for photo. Only photo, Your Excellency, after you are done. We thank you. On behalf of the people of Aswa, Your Excellency, we haven't discovered a lot from you. The purpose that God made you to be the president of this country, we haven't discovered. We know that God will give us that discovery in 2026, 2031. We can request that Your Excellency be on a ballot paper in the next campaign, in the next ballot paper. I support the National Office of the National Chairman.
ka che ki office pa na
with the tobacco main, Your Excellency.
ki dano bichu
And as a people of Wachwa,
machalo wan wak ma chwa
we kindly request that tobacco main, Your Excellency. We still need your wisdom, we still need your guidance in the next elections. I salute you and I thank you. May God bless your family. May God bless Uganda. May God bless all the work and the wisdom, not only for Uganda, not only for East Africa, but for Africa at large. I thank you. I thank you.
Apoy matek ila tela mai loy lo Uganda loy Africa loy wen apoy matek
Oh. Honorable Balmoy.
Apoyo now he's inviting the Honorable Sharon Balmoy.
Your Excellency, let the Honorable Balmoy, because she's a woman member of parliament of this area, introduce herself.
Ladit ye don't
I
wait
thank you.
Honorable Sharon Balmoy bena machalo MP Mego wet bena wala tela rio mo or to no ki mo tie
The Lord is good
babe
and all the time, and that
That
is
is
His
his
nature.
nature.
Wow.
Wow.
Your Excellency,
Ladit President
the President of the Republic of Uganda,
President me Uganda mamewa
and the Commander of Chief of the UPDF,
the Commander in Chief me UPDF
I welcome you to Gulu District.
the only guru team
Our Chief Justice,
Wanwa Ladit Chief Justice
Honorable Richard Todwong,
Ladit Secretary General
who is
Honorable
our
Richard
Secretary
Todwong,
General for the mighty party NRM,
Secretary General my party NRM
Honorable Ministers,
Honorable Ministers Duchu
Honorable Members of Parliament,
the Honorable Member of Parliament Duchu
the religious leaders,
Lutera Dini
my Lord Bishops in particular,
Ladit Bishop Honorio Duchu
our cultural heads,
Lutera Wamete Kwaro
the UPDF family,
Ludiro UPDF Duchu
and Luakme Palar, Kigulu District, Amoruba,
and the people of Palaro and Gulu
Amaru Imapa Yesu
I greet you
Christo.
all. I love you in the name of Jesus.
Your Excellency, my name is Alake Sharon Balmoy.
Ladit President Anya Lake Sharon Balmoy,
I am the woman member of parliament for Gulu District.
Anati MP Mamego.
I proudly welcome you to my home.
Juri, Kawaha Matarumego.
Feel at Gulu.
Be Pedagonia Gulu.
I'm so honored for this day. Indeed, this is the day that the Lord has made. We've been waiting for this day for a very long time. And people had lost hope. But the Bible says everything works for good for them that love the Lord. Last year, when this function was postponed, the people of Palaro were devastated. They thought you didn't mean well for them. But you know you're a father. How could you have come to celebrate or give a decent reburial to your friend, to our father, without a magnificent home the way it is right now? So we told our people to wait. And they have waited. And today you are here. I want to say thank you, sir. As it has already been mentioned, your coming was so abrupt. If it wasn't for that, sir, you would have found a multitude of people here for celebrating the reburial of our brother and father. People have been gearing for this day from the entire Choli region, those in the diaspora, but it just came in short notice of 4 days. But nevertheless, here they are, and we are grateful. Thank you so much for this wonderful house. Thank you for loving the family of Pierino Okoya. I pray as a believer that today should mark the end of every misfortune in Acholi, especially that attacks our leaders. Because people were saying that our father and mama, of course, they were brutally murdered and they were not at peace. So today, I am more than sure that the history of Acholi will be rewritten today. Because the death of Brigadier Okoya was the beginning of the problems and the suffering of the people of Acholi. So I am so grateful. Let me also thank you so much for honoring our past leaders who were brutally murdered in the same manner. Like you gave a reburial and a decent reburial to the first inspector of police, Erinaya Oriema, that your predecessor did not do. You have honored our late Bishop Janani Luum. And many others that you've been able to support. Your Excellency, we are grateful. My colleague has already mentioned all our prayers. For the interest of time, I'm not getting back to that. But as I go back to sit, Your Excellency, it's my prayer that you grant the people of Palaro with a technical school in memory of General Okoya, Pierino. As you know, in Acholi sub-region and Gulu district in particular, we are still lagging behind in education. And this technical school will go a long way. Your Excellency, sir, it's also my honor to let you know that in Acholi Parliamentary Group, I am the one in charge of monitoring Emyoga and PDM, where I know apparently your heart lies. So we welcome more initiative to eradicate poverty in our region. I thank everyone who has made this day possible. I thank the CDF and General Charles Otemawan and everyone. May God bless you. Long live our president. I thank you.
Thank you.
Your Excellency,
President,
I would like now to take the singular honor to welcome our Minister Okello Oriem to speak with the gathering. Thank you.
I thought I should just move in the shade.
That's good, sir.
Your Excellency,
Your Excellency, the President,
the President of the Republic of Uganda,
President of Uganda,
my Lord the Chief Justice,
my Lord the Chief Justice,
my brother the Secretary General of the NRM Party,
my brother Nyomera, Secretary General of NRM,
colleague ministers and members of Parliament, my lords, the bishops,
bishops,
my brothers in the armed forces, distinguished every person in different capacities. Anamboruba,
I greet you all.
Ulmutika warning.
You, the people of Shabbat.
Ulmutia warning, Kwamorun.
I'm greeting you.
Let
us listen here.
I
have greeted you. I'm the one called Oriemba. I'm from Namukora.
Namukora te Kidgum.
Namukora is in Kitgum district. This is Oriel. I'm the son to the late General Tito Kello Lutwa.
Your Excellency, I am talking in a strange capacity.
I think I look.
Any other minister here would have talked.
Minister Moko Ken.
Any minister would have talked. But I was deliberately invited to talk. When at the burial of the late General Brigadier Okoya, with his wife Anna, my late father was delegated by President Obote to represent him at this function. Deja vu. History is repeating itself. I was then asked by the organizers, the UPDF, that just like your father did, and represented the government in the burial of Okoya, please come to this function and make sure you're here, not only as a son of the soil, but also doing the same thing your father did when Okoya was buried. Hence I'm here. So I'd like to thank the organizers, led by my brother, General Tema. First of all, for organizing this function, and also recognizing that for me to talk. Your Excellency, finally, we have reached to a point where I have always consistently, at the burial of Ochora, at the burial of Lokech, of my brother Jacob Olanya, and so on and so forth. I was almost like an old record disc players. In all these functions,
all our leaders, one by one, those who may remember, I have been saying this. That actually will be peaceful. Our elders have been saying that if the problem will continue to return. I remember this very well. This is what has been restored and retold. The same. Today it has happened. It has happened. We now pray for the soul of the late brigadier to look down on us for what we have done today for them, so that we get peace, so that we start feeling fresh. Our children should grow. People should live in love. People should look at each other as brothers and sisters. Not where we are all actually. Starting today. Let us leave behind the divisions among us. So that a strong tribe that is respected because of the work they do, because of their courage and what they can do. Not that because the people fear them. Today, Your Excellency, I'm going to say. My wife wakes me because she might believe that I'm dead. I will sleep. Today, because if I take anything, they might say I slept because of drinking. I also believe that the souls of the late Tito Kelo from Makoa is smiling. And our mother is also smiling. Our brothers in the army who have lost their lives. Our brothers died in a different way. It's difficult to tell. Not only for Koya. Many of our brothers.
Even Karama Kinero.
Even at that time when he died, when he was killed.
Kinero, Obama.
Around that time also, the late Peter Obama was also killed.
Obama Kinero Yoma line.
Obama was killed in one of the most.
Look, I
cannot tell it here.
Put a mirror go to boo. Put a mirror Yabo Bo.
To open another can of worms.
Anange Obama, Itino na, Ange Obama, Edita, a call Obama in London.
I lived with Obama in London.
Obama in London.
Obama was in London.
Also. In the 70s, in London.
In the 70s, he was in London.
A very smart officer.
He was a really very smart officer.
A very brave officer.
A very brave commander.
And Luluoro.
But now,
Luluoro, Mary Luoro, Akitibugi.
Those who are cowards.
Luluoro, Mabel Luoro, Nino Gima, can't near Lake, but a Luoro Lake.
Of their own dreams.
I am never Obama.
They are the ones who killed him. They are the ones who killed him. Very brutal.
Panya Candino Boma paid no take care. Kilo no will obey care.
I believe with his smartness, Uganda would have also been a better place than it is now. I still remember it.
Top Brigadier Okoya Bill Maracha 12.
The death of Brigadier Okoya was a very sad one.
Yes, there was a very young fellow.
He was, he was a very young fellow.
And we were leaving. My father was the commanding officer of Masindi. And my father and Obama were exceptionally good friends. And actually, why are the Piangwen? Umkiwang, Lurem Kabisa. Mamana ben Rem Anna Matek Kutwal.
My mother was a very close friend to the late Anna.
And they visit each other very frequently.
They used to live in the
Well, young, but we used to see their friendship. But later on, as we grew up, my father started explaining some of the friendship and some of the things that happened. When Obama, the day before Obama was killed, Obama left Masaka. This is my mother's narration. And came to meet my father in Masindi. Our home was opposite that school, Farm Institute in Masindi. So we remember the two of them came and the many soldiers around. And they spent the afternoon at home. They had late lunch. And all of a sudden, Obama stood up and said, Tito anda chirako.
He just stood up and said, they are the way.
Okoya stood up and said, Tito anda chirako.
Okoya was actually meaning Okoya. That actually Tito Okoya said.
And my father was Ichirako.
No, his mother was saying.
Nino, Gulu can chalk.
Okoya told him that. I want to go and sleep at home.
No, Kaburti, I know Buriganga. So they left around 3. There was this exchange of words, they left around 3. Okay, water bear. And they went off. Soon after they left, my father went to the house, took off his shirt, and went and sat on the veranda. And around 6 o'clock, as the sun was setting, a small saloon car came and passed in front of our house about 3 times. And my mother was sitting next to my father. Then my mother went to bring tea for my father. That saloon then came and stopped. And my mother said she could see it. 2 people came out carrying these things for carrying guns, you know, in a khaki thing. Those days, there are many people, hunters, who would carry their rifles in a zippy thing for hunting. So they carried these guns, and they walked past the house, And they passed the next neighbor and they went to the third house, asking if anybody knew Muzetito. And because my father had just been moved from Jinja to Masaka, to Masindi, we did not know those neighbors. So they said they have never heard of Tito. At that time when they're coming back, my mother had brought the tea and asked my mother, and my mother was saying that she had this premonition, so she took that tray and told my father, you come and sit with us, the ladies, under the tree at the back. And unusually, my mother said unusually, my father agreed. Because my father ordinarily would say, I don't want to listen to you gossips, you women. And he said there. The next day, an army message came through. Those days there was no mobile phones, and those days the phones in Masindi was the one you twist around and didn't work on. A runner came home. A runner, one of those soldiers they call runners, and brought a message to my father. And my father broke down. I remember my father entering the car with my mother immediately and driving off. We don't know what had happened. But I remember something, Your Excellency. The next morning, I was supposed to go back to school in Jinja. On the 26th. So on the 26th, when we reached Jinja, we found a newspaper with a picture of Okoya being killed in Uganda gas. I've asked the people from New Vision to look for that Uganda gas. There's a picture of Muzetito next to it, and the story was that Bill was killed. Later on, when there's in the middle of the confusion, my father then came to realize that he was also supposed to be killed that day. The way Obama or Museo Okoya was killed in the Choli sub-region brought many issues. Actually, when a person dies, and they need some explanation of the death. Nobody naturally dies for no reason. They must find the cause of the death. But this one was unusual. Because when Mama Anna was shot, she was bathing on a veranda. And when she fell down, she fell down, but she was kneeling on her knees. She never fell on the ground. She didn't fall. If you see all the pictures of Mama Anna, naked, she was bathing naked, but when she fell with her knees and elbows, but for some reason, she didn't fall down. That then brought alarm. Everybody's hands went, in the Choli sub-region here, everybody went to confusion. That there was some mysterious something. Even my own mother died believing there was something. But God plans everything. I'm glad that He brought me here this morning. He brought all of us here. He brought all of us here today. And I pray He takes all of us back home. But the same God knows what He will do to one or two of us before we reach home. So I'm so happy, Excellency, I, more than everybody here, is excited and happy. One thing most people didn't mention here is that you came to the last and final prayers and thanksgiving of my late father also in 2017. Ikamonte you will yell pa wora jelo tito. Mwagali bariyo kapara biro. Eno biro eni come. Kilmatino biro kanye. So on top of coming to the burial of Ochora, the late Ochora and Gulu, Olaja, Lokech, and others, I want to tell you that he came to the last funeral prayers of Mzee Tito also. Your Excellency, I was in the UN last week. And I want to thank Your Excellency for what you have done for Acholi sub-region, in spite of many challenges you have faced from the Acholi people. In spite of many challenges you face the Acholi people. And I want to thank you particularly for appointing me your minister. When I was at UN, by the way, I'm not part of that confusion, sir. I just went on my normal job. I went to do my normal job, which I've been doing for the last 22 years. And the president of Senegal saw me. And he called me, okay, come here. And I went to say, Your Excellency, how are you, sir? I said, where is Museveni? I said, no, sir, Your Excellency, my president cannot come this year because of other busy pressing assignments. And then we have the vice president here. He said, I've been seeing you here every year. Said, okay. What exactly do you do? I said, Your Excellency, I'm the Minister of State Foreign Affairs of Uganda. He said, but I see you every year. I said, yes, this is the job. And asked me, what's your profession? I told him, I'm a lawyer. He said, what was your father doing? What does your father do? And I told him my father was the former president of Uganda. The former president. He said the one before Museveni? I said, yes, sir. He said, are you sure? I said, yes, sir. He said, President Museveni appointed you after inheriting your father's government. He called the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He said, this is the son of Tito. And there was a lot of excitement on the Senegal desk. All of a sudden, everybody excited. Actually, when I see you here, and I see what you have done, what MPs have talked about, what they have done for the North, really, I do not know how to thank you. I don't know how to thank you. Only God will thank you. And I hope that God can give 1,000 more years. But the death of Okoya was the beginning of the dark days of Uganda. The death of Okoya precipitated the later confusions that you see in this northern Uganda here, among the different tribes. Among the different tribes. This is what precipitated it. The leaders never came for the burial of Okoya. Amin was suspected to be the key assassin or organized the killing. Amin was suspected, was the chief suspect. And all that brought a situation that became explosive. And Idi Amin then deciding that before he can be arrested, follow the investigation that was on set, that he should overthrow the government immediately. And he got his opportunity. So that all that he had done, because actually officers, amongst them Brigadier Okoya, were people who were not cowards to tell Amin off for what he was doing in the army. For the wrongs they were doing in the army, these officers, including General Tito, would tell Amin on his face, whether in the mess, whether in the meetings, and Amin had to deal with them. Then the confusion of people not coming for the burial, that is the beginning of the dark days of Uganda. Amin then took over government, and all things fall apart until you finally came to rescue this country. But I want to thank you also that you did not only come to government for the sake of taking government. These are healings. You are healing the country. You are healing the country and removing the country out of the darkness it's been. This is a very powerful healing process. A very powerful reconciliation process. These people will go back, finding closure. Bazoo have this word called closure. Bazoo have something called closure. If there's no closure, there are issues. So this is closure. So you have finally brought closure. Closure here, reconciliation here, along the length and breadth of actually. Amongst the two clans who are fighting here, you have caused closure. You have made effort to close closure between you, actually sub-region, and the West Nilers. You have made numerous efforts to close closure and bring final dispute between Acholi and the Langis. All this is because the good Lord has sent you as a messenger. Your Excellency, I've been given a note here saying I've overtalked. Who gave this message? Who wrote this? But we'll get time, sir. We should get time and we should discuss this matter in full. But I want to thank you, Excellency. I want to thank you. Before I finish, sir, on behalf of everybody from the north, from Karamoja, from Langosa region, from Arua, sir, I saw a letter of yours about a hospital to be built at Gulu University. Museveni, please see that thing through. I was the Vice Chancellor in my office the other day. Where's the Vice Chancellor? Sir, please, sir. This hospital will help everybody in this region, including South Sudan. I'm not a member of parliament from this area, but I know that maybe one day my relative will need that hospital. Even me, I might need that hospital. So please, sir, that is my coho. I do not have much to say, but people put words in my mouth. Your Minister of Northern Uganda put some word in my mouth. Where's the Minister of Northern Uganda? She's there. She asked me that now you are here with the Musée. Last time we were in Kitgum with Musée, and we had talked about, yes. So, first of all, before we go there, I want to thank you for Kikosi Malum. Where's Kikosi Malum? Aha. Because malum any job luenyo, kariya mamin. Jomo uberkil ladit president no take for an answer groupe. Muzetito no take groupe gilone because malum. Your Excellency, I've told you on many occasions that I was part of Kikosi Malum physically. I was there. I can produce the photos. I don't want the tractors. I don't want the 100 million. But Twing reminded me about my honorary rank, sir. Lieutenant General. I am waiting for it, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Excellency. Let me invite my brother, actually my true brother, Chief Justice Owindolo.
Ladid President.
Your Excellency, the President.
Don't worry, I'll translate for myself.
Okay, thank you.
Lord Paliele General Pierino Okoya. Your Grace, Archbishop Megulu Archdiocese, Bishop Merua Diocese, Kiloti Dine Duchu, Maubino Kwedgitien, Rudy Meke Mea Choli, Mapat Parmagitiek Botrakantien, Honorable Ministers here present, Honorable Members of Parliament, Chief of the Ugandan People's Defense Force and the officers, men and women under your charge. Kiwuna chuli luwara weng mok tie kantien. Ladid President, I think I would be wasting time to go through the litany of the reasons why we commend you for today's function. For you to better appreciate the importance of today's function, and that's what my brother, the one who is crying for a military rank, honorary, I think, he mentioned to bring closer to a festering wound. In our anthropology as the Acholi people, and I think this applies to the typical African society all over the African continent, death of a member of the family, death of someone who's dear to you is painful. But death through a perpetration done with malice aforethought, meaning it was maliciously done, meaning it was planned, means it was deliberate, it was not accidental, for whatever reason, is devastating and traumatizing. I was in mid-primary when General Pierino Okoya was killed. But what people felt here is what we felt in Agago, what people felt in Lamour, what people felt in Nuaya now and Amuro. At that time it was called Kilak County. Darkness had covered this place. But what you've done to bring back light to us, a good part of which Honorable Henry Okoya said, is to heal the wound in two ways. At the micro level, between the Palaro and the Lamogi people, you know, people always say Matoput, Matoput. First of all, it is wrongly misrepresented. The justice in the actually traditional justice system is not Matoput, it is Cholukuo. When you take life, if I take life from General Tema's family, if I take the life of General Tema, immediately under our traditional justice system, Secretary General Todwong and all the clan members of Parliament have a duty to Cholukuo, to revenge. They have a duty to revenge. And I might be somebody, a non-entity. In the Choli language, you say Dogedano. I might be Dogedano, who kills a giant like General Tema. In the Cholukuo, the revenge, they will not look for me because I cannot fill General Tema's grave. They look for somebody in my extended family, in my clan, whose slaughter in revenge would bring up the same quantity of tears the Palami people suffered when I killed General Tema. And that duty can only be terminated by Cholukuo, by compensation. In some towns it's called blood money. Before the British government came, it was not money, it was not even cattle. My people would have to find a girl ripe for marriage to give over to the family of General Tema, to continue producing children in the name of General Tema. That was our custom, that was our justice. But when the British brought their legal system here in 1902, there's a clause there which is called the repugnancy clause, where customary law is only applicable if it is not repugnant to good conscience. Something we have even in our Constitution, we have in our Judicature Act, we've continued, giving exception to when customary law is applicable. Then they converted it to payment using cattle, 20 head of cattle, 15, 10, or even 2, depending on the nature of causation. Then that terminates the duty or the right to revenge. And then when that compensation is either agreed on or actually paid, then you go through a public function, a public ritual called Matoput, that concoction of the Oput tree. Oput tree is in the family of mahogany, it's a big tree. That's not what, it is not Matoput that brings justice. As a matter of fact, Matoput is just public notice to the whole world that between the two families, there's no right of revenge anymore. That's what Matoput is all about. So the sooner we begin talking about Cholukuo and not Matoput, the better. Because without Chulukwo, you cannot go through Matuput. The right to revenge will continue until compensation for life taken is done. Why am I thanking you? Why am I saying at the micro level, you made this possible between the Palaro and the Lamogi people? Because you provided the funds, I am told you provided the funds which the Lamogi people now were able to pay. And that is permitted in our culture. When you give the money to me, it stays one day overnight with me, it is now my money. It doesn't matter where I get it from. Even when it is cattle, it doesn't matter where I get the cattle from, I'll take it to the family we've wronged. So you've sorted out within the two families. But because General Okoya was killed when he was in the service, and all fingers are pointed to people who were in the service with him, you have also made peace between, by all these things you've done, a house, holding this function, and so many and so many. You have even now Chulukwo between the government of Uganda, the state of Uganda, and the people of Acholi, because Okoya was larger than Palaro. He was our son. So this is really important. And as a rider to this, recently you were in Gulu. There was a crusade organized by one of our pastors in this country. You came out clear. There was no mistake. It was unmistakable. You came out and said, you apologize to the Choli people for the mistakes done during your tenure in office. You've done many things, but one of the things that have given you high moral ground is that statement, that owning up. To own up, you don't have to be culpable. You don't have to have done something yourself. But when you are head of the family, and it is in sync with our tradition as actually with our traditional justice system, that the head of the family takes responsibility. Even when you not send your children to do the wrong, you take responsibility. I know, Your Excellency, I have been asked, and soon I'll be bothering you to meet a team of Acholi elders who want to come and converse with you over that statement. One of the greatest statements you made here. But I remember, this is not the first time you've given this apology. When I was state minister here, your delegate here, in 1998, we went to Amoro, IDP, and you said, I'm so sorry to find you in this situation. You saw the response, you saw the applause. The other day, Benedicto Kawanoka Day, which you were not able to attend for the first time, I said this, and let me reiterate it here. The time is now for us to speak to one another in this country. The time is now for us to converse, talk peace. Here in the Acholi sub-region, it is peace building. Elsewhere, you might be averting a possible problem, but here it is peace building. At the personal level, at the collective level, because we are a tribal society, at the tribal level, at the state level, let us speak to one another and let us build this culture of sitting down and speaking. We don't have to fight for 20 years the way Coin did here, and then he invited me to go and meet him in Garamba. I sat with him for 6 hours. If we had spoken the week he went to the bush, or soon thereafter, all this devastation here would not have taken place. So, Ladid, you've taken that high moral ground. You've thrown us a big challenge. And as I said, actually elders want to come and have this conversation. Again, you're bringing closer to that wound that has festered here for a long time. I know it is much easier to box. For me, it is easier to box the CDF general. But it's not as easy as it is to box for me to say sorry. It is human nature. But when you want to know where greatness lies, find where somebody stands up and say, yes, I take responsibility. Then you know that person is a servant of God. You know that person, God is speaking through that person. I want to say, the Honorable Minister mentioned, and others mentioned, a number of people you facilitated, you made contribution to ensure that they are decently buried. The dead president, he forgot General Basilio Olarokelo, whom you brought back and buried in Mariupei. Yes, it was Colonel, I think, or Brigadier now. Langoya from Padibe. He was Brigadier, he died in London. Those are what we call the olive branch, extending the olive branch. Those are some of the things I always urge my Acholi people. When somebody extends the olive branch, play ball. Takes two to tango. We will come, Ladit will come. We'll have our conversation. I've been approached. We'll come. Because that statement you made in Gulu was a great statement. And it's the beginning of a new dispensation. But now people have talked about it must have been Amin who killed Okoya and what have you. And the circumstantial evidence is strong in that regard. You say General Okoya had rebuked him when Milton Obote life was nearly taken at Kololo. Is it Lugogo, I think. But I want the students of history, those who are interested in our political history, and maybe I should have made this lecture in a military academy. For me, I attribute the killing of General Okoya to the Sudan curse, the Sudan factor, which brought the government of Milton Obote twice down. Amin himself was a pawn. For those who've read about Colonel Steiner, who was with the Anyanya, that diary which has been spoken about and written about, Colonel Steiner was also involved in the Biafra rebellion. He was a busybody, an agent provocateur. General Okoya exposed himself as a formidable impediment for the attainment of that design to have President Milton Obote out of power. To achieve that soft underbelly in the geopolitics of the area during the Anyanya rebellion. Your Excellency, at the end, there was nobody to stop Amin. Lieutenant Colonel Yeto Jok was a junior officer comparatively. There was nobody to stop Amin, but Amin was a puppet, was a pawn in the chess game. The rest is history. But then the Sudan curse, the Sudan factor, brought Milton Obote's government down a second time. You had people here talking about going to skin the elephant, young Oliech. And the core of the people who went to Winkibul in southern Sudan to train as guerrillas to fight Amin came from here. The clan and sub-tribe of Palaro and the other people joined them. Because they had the Lapi. Lapi is, you say you have a just war, you are declaring a just war. In actually you say Lapi, you have Lapi. He killed us for nothing. As if killing Okoya was not enough, he slaughtered everybody that was in the military whom he believed could revenge for the killing of Okoya. That was the belief. It was the Winkibul force with the direct support of Khartoum, the government in Khartoum. And there were only two countries that allowed Obote to have guerrillas in their country. It was Tanzania and Sudan. And the Sudan force was trained here under the charge of Basilio Okello in Winkibul. And people would disappear, say, they have gone to hunt the elephant. They have gone to skin the elephant. That was the euphemism used for saying they have gone to join the guerrilla activity. They were transported from Winkibul to Khartoum, to Port Sudan, down the Indian Ocean, down the Suez, the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean, down to Tanzania, I think Tanga or something, I can't remember now. Tanga, eh? Thank you. And they were part of the force that, alongside US, helped by the Tanzanian People's Defense Force, supporting SPLA when we are suffering. You brought suffering here because you are supporting SPLA. That was the talk here. But for me, I would say here in actually, people of my age and above, instead of throwing ordnance, military ordnance, the other side of the Agoro Imatong range, they erroneously dropped it in Agoro, the side of Uganda, and Basilio refused to release them. So how you're going to bring us problems here. And Basilio's case was, at our hour of need, it was Sudan and Tanzania that stood with us. Sudan allowed us to train, gave us arms, and actually Milton Obote himself says he left Tanzania and went to Khartoum. One of the aborted coups found him there, at least in his own account. So the best that Uganda under Milton Obote would do was to act as mediator between Khartoum and the SPLA. That was the position of Basilio Okello when he was brigade commander here in Gulu. That these are two people who are important to us. The Southern Sudanese, our kith and kin. But Khartoum stood with us at our hour of need. So when your two brothers are fighting, a third brother cannot come and take sides with one brother. So we should use our good offices to mediate between the two. And it is that simmered and ended up in the collapse. And for me, I would have said, Obote II government was never overthrown, it just imploded. So the Sudan curse. We here, we know about the Sudan curse again, and I hope it is the last time the curse comes from the Sudan, when Sudan supported Joseph Koi's LRA and wreaked immeasurable, unspeakable havoc in this place. The only two things, Your Excellency, which the people speak about joyously or happily, that came from the Sudan, was Governor Samuel Baker, who stayed in, particularly just a few kilometers south, where on a Gulu hill, he put up his barricade. Fought slavery, slave trade. The Katumas were the worst slave traders from Arabia in Africa, maybe matched by Tipu Tip, Mohammed El Mujebi. So people speak here fondly when they speak about what has come from the Sudan. They speak about Sir Samuel Baker. The second one, Ladid, is the Catholic Church. That is the other institution that came from Sudan, which the people of actually speak fondly of because of what the Catholic Church did in this region. It was more prominent than the colonial government. Apart from forced labor constructing roads and isolated hospitals, centers here, the bulk of medical facilities, all schools. No wonder in the independence election, a primary school teacher could defeat a master's holder, a master's degree holder in election, if the other one was Anglican and the primary school teacher was Catholic. So what you've done here, what you've done today here, and that statement of yours, if we seize it, if we seize that tide and make good use of it, history will be very kind to us with regard to this sub-region. Otherwise, what did the colonialists leave us here with? I didn't know the deep biography of General Okoya. I didn't know he had gone up to junior secondary. That was like, no, much more than A level. Those junior secondary people were powerful. But why did he drop out of school? Probably General Okoya would still be alive today as a medical doctor, as an engineer, as an administrator who was retired. It was because of the colonial economy which did not favor us. I've spoken about this before. I'll continue to speak about it. The cotton economy, which the people in southern Uganda abandoned and went for something of value. His father could not pay for his fees because they were dependent on the colonial economy. That colonial economy is still intact with us here, and part of peace building in this place, if only to honor the memory of General Okoya, is to focus on what to do with the colonial economy in this place. How do we jump out of the frying pan of the colonial economy? Today we would not be holding a function. Maybe today we would be holding a function of a great professor. You would have found no reason to come here unless if you knew him for one reason or another. But the colonial economy brought us here. It compelled General Okoya to choose to go to the military. He may not have gone there. He would have pursued his education. But each one of us were subject of the wheel of destiny as it is ordained by God. So all I did Wapoyo Tutwal, Wapoyo Matek, what you've done, for the reasons I've given, for the reasons my colleagues have given. You don't know what you want actually. The did Archbishop, Rudy Mamegwa, Lutala Mamegwa, Unity Parliament, district level, Kabir Mapat, only 10 or Muti Moin. You don't Jomo Kene. La dit cheng chao waju ke kan ana beru pere kwana. Ni jam madrejo maporo te me actually. Bal moti men the wing and ye chu ye en matalu won gan. Kangan muti uche ka motikete. In puchi beru pin keriti umaro. Kangan mo wado ni ana ye balla mama report it's all cool. And Your Excellency, what you did in Karuma ground, I hope it was in Kaunda ground. Yes, you see, that's how elders do it in Achole here. Your children or your brother's children or some children in the clan do wrong. You don't send boys to go and apologize because they can get killed during the period when the right of revenge still exists. An elder like you comes and raises his hand. He doesn't say, we have wronged, our children have wronged you. The elder will say, the elder will speak as the embodiment of the guilty family. That calling the other elder, say, Benayo, I have wronged you. Please ask the young fellows to put their spears down. Let us sit and find a solution. And that's what Benayo, Elder Benayo on the other side will do. So what you did in Kaunda ground is to tell the Acholi people whatever has gone wrong, including what Koin did, by the way, because Koin was your subject. You say, look, the war took 20 years. I take responsibility. It's not guilt. You own this home called Uganda. You own this family called Uganda. Say, I take this responsibility. Let us sit down and talk peace. Let's sit down what to do next, the way forward. That is my understanding. If I'm wrong, please help me to understand that I'm wrong. But that is my understanding. That you say, look, let's sit down. Things do go wrong. It has not started here, it's happened the world over. And let's see how we can make amends. That's how I understood you, Ladit. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Amen.
Ladit, I now take the singular honor to invite you to speak to your people. Apoyo.
Apoyo.
Thank you.
Sit down, please. The band give us some music where I sort out where a chair while I sort out something here.
One good song. Mapia any dog mokena. Ban tika yupe mean wawe mapia la di president akalo. Nyo tiro lok main chikwede.
Okay, asante sana. His Lordship, the Chief Justice,
Lady Chief Justice,
the Honorable Ministers,
one ministers Duchu Mautikan,
His Grace, the Archbishop and other bishops,
Luteladini, Lady Bishop Ki, Luteladini Mukene,
Their Highnesses, the traditional leaders,
one Lutela Tequaro Mautikan,
the other political leaders,
one Lutela Rumuduchuma Patpat,
and Ruak Mayor Chori Duchu.
and all the people of Acholi, all.
The problems of Africa,
Pero Pawan, Lobo Africa,
including Uganda,
Mabena Uganda Tiyeni,
started on a bad foundation.
Uchake, Yachaki Mawan, Wachako Kere Lobo wa,
At independence.
Ikaramawan no Kere Lotken.
This is our view. It's well stated and well recited also.
Mene Kirmawan on Yankere, Kikwedo Bene.
This is because the political leaders who had not had enough time to prepare themselves
Pien Lutela wa Magogamo Lotken, Uno Pego Yupetual.
they started emphasizing politics of identity.
Uchako Merene, Giti politic, me yin aki kwene, ana aki kwene, dini nga,
Of tribe,
manoginero kaka,
of religion.
maginoginero dini pangara chele chele.
That's what his lordship was saying, that
Mene again ma, Wendolo Berkawatla.
you could get a primary teacher because he's of this religion, defeating a professor because he's of another religion.
Kiet makarta, Kiyerme la point primary mo, loy la point mangyongat matiki master degree, piano ID ni money.
Now, those people didn't know that they were playing with fire.
Don ene pego tamoni, wuyi pa reunion, no geniti atoko ki mat chingi.
Because the mistake was, if you emphasize tribe or religion or gender, there was also suppressing the women.
Bien, gierno kiti mere lokom kaka, nyo dini pangat money, ki bene lokom mon nyo, yin la cho nyo idao.
The question is, those tribes, those religions, do they have the same needs and the same problems?
La pendong, dini mon ma intika lokiyeni. Pero ki mono rom nyo nining.
Is there Catholic hunger and Protestant hunger, or is hunger?
Uno kej manero lo katuli lo pat kit kej manero lo chemech.
Yes, cage is cage.
Kej don kej.
So the Chan, is there a Chan which is Catholic and Chan which is Protestant?
Chan mo kene dok tiema beru chan katuli, nyo chan mo kene ti chan pamor kole. Chan dong chan.
When there is no kuch, when there is no peace,
Ka kuch pere.
is everybody affected or not?
Kuchi ene ka kuch pere. Wero lo katuli o dok lo katuli beri kuch lo cheme dok beri ichan.
You are talking of a bad road here, that is still a bad road. Till
Uberu ka
here.
lok lo tele uberu ka lok lokum yo maraj botu kany.
That road affects everybody
Yo ne ene. Yero down duchu.
in the area.
Mighty area ene.
So therefore, that emphasis of identity, politics of
Meno.
identity,
La kori lok ma ki logo mere lo tele logo mere kon gi jenge kum kaga nyo dini pangat moni nin.
in our view, was a mistake.
Wan eno ni ene uberu bal ma diet ma da ma lo tele wa chako kele tele bo Uganda.
And then the second mistake was the misuse of violence.
Kidong ma ari one uberu. Joma tiki kero, magi tiu ki kero ki ene. Me tiji kum lu wot ki.
Violence is like surgery.
Bien, unyo tiki gero eno nyo gero ene. Raj.
A doctor can use surgery to solve a problem.
Dakta unyo rom timu gimo. Me tiji kupero mwene man luk luk ki tuo mwene na.
But to use surgery, you must be very careful.
Eto yin dakta mwene me tika yang la tuo ni. Mieri mwake ba.
And you must use it as a means of last resort.
Kai bi yang ngarmo. No de ngia tira. May no ni yo mo mapat dong peke.
When other medicines have not worked.
No yat mo kene dong we failing.
And then you go for the sick part, not
Chide cheri yang en kanya liet ke ken.
So if you cut everywhere and you say you are a surgeon, then you are no longer a surgeon. You are a butcher now. So these people, the CJ is talking of the policy arguments they had. The Obotes wanting to support SPLM. The Basilio saying no. Yes, but why fight over that? Why don't you discuss it? Because we normally have all these discussions. Differences. We discuss sort of some, others if we don't sort of, we wait. The traditional leader there was talking of the traditional leaders talking when they are seated. That it is a tradition that they sit even when the president of Uganda is there. I think it is unconstitutional. And no traditional leader would have sat down to speak when the governor was here. I think it is wrong, but I can't fight for that. Start a war because the traditional leader has sat down. Let him that is misuse of violence. And that was part of the problem. So these people were making mistakes of ideology. But making mistakes also of methods of work. Now I discussed with I didn't work with Okoya. And we had not interacted with him. We had Omoya in Mbarara. We had Omoya. We were even studying with his son Owin. But later on I interacted with others. With Oito Jok. With Tito Kero. Now, that story which the CJ talked about, I heard about it. That when Obote was shot at Lugogo, Amin, who was quite cowardly, ran and hid. And then later on came back. So, in one of the meetings, I hear that Okoya challenged him that you ran away. And that's why they say Amin arranged for these people to kill him. I heard that story. I was told by Oito Jok. But the two mistakes, the wrong ideology of emphasizing identity rather than needs of people, and the wrong methods of work resulted into a lot of problems. Like these killings, so many people were killed that time.
Where neno jo ma pol lutero ma pol me Uganda guto gurwenyo kogi kar eno.
People like Arach.
Chalo Megarach.
People like there was the brother of Nekion, a very nice man called Ayum.
La rema mono kiluonye Ayub bene.
Ayum. Yeah.
Ayum bene engo nyukone.
So many people were killed.
Tama pol mada.
Langoya gi. So there were so many people were killed.
Joma pol gurwenyo kogi NP yo metela marach.
But I am happy.
Ento ya dong yom ni.
And that's why when they invite me for these remembrances, I feel a bit happy. Because we punished those who killed all these people. We punished Amin. All those killers paid. They didn't succeed. They killed people, but in the end they lost. And you can see that Okoya was somebody who had good potential. Because you hear that he joined the army in 1948. People like Mzee Tito Okello had joined earlier. I think Mzee Tito Okello had joined around 1939 or something. Because he was in Ethiopia in the Italian campaign. But you hear by 1970, when Okoya was killed, he was already a brigadier when I think Tito Okello was a major or something like that.
Yeah, kadong ini winyo do done kita ke tiro ke ten matiri kita noni. Madong en kinereni. Uno dong ti wa me brigadier kulo. Madong en kinereni. He dog office madong ma pat.
That could be because of that education which the CJ talked about.
Ana biro ne chalo biro pinge ma eno no matot ikwan mo ne ma eno kwanis junior secondary. Well, I did justice window lo yene.
If you had gone up to junior secondary, that was good education that time.
Junior senior secondary.
So therefore, the learning from these mistakes.
Dong piman wan nong ngej mo wano ki kom mistake paludirwa mo karangay bal maludirwa timoni.
Mistake number one, politics of identity.
Bal ma chel politic man me yinanga kakaningon.
Tribe religion. They are a misdiagnosis of the problem. It is a pseudo ideology. People are talking about our ability to reconcile people. It is because we don't believe in that politics of sectarianism. We never believed in it. Right from 1965. Some of the boys who were in DP like myself. And those who were in UPC, like the Rubundas, the Kategayas, we said this is wrong politics. We should go for the politics of people's needs. And people's needs are the same. You cannot have people suffering from malaria. Malaria. And you say this is Catholic malaria. This is Protestant. This is Achori malaria. This is Baganda malaria. You are a quack doctor. Malaria is malaria. And it affects all people the same. So that's how we started. And the ability, for instance, to build an army which is strong and united, it is because we don't look at the tribes. We don't look at the religion. The army, can you shoot properly? Not shooting a Catholic way or a Protestant way.
No.
Or a Chori way.
Oh, no target Pachuli.
Or Banyankwere way.
Oh, Banyanyoman, Yankwere Chilu, target.
This is all pseudo, all false. Some of the tribes in Uganda would not join the army, that colonial army. Like some of the tribes are short people. No, this is short. Can't join the army. What does height have to do with army?
Now,
I don't know whether you have seen Vietnamese. Vietnamese are very short people. But they finished the Torah American. The Torah, the easy. So these false things cause a lot of problems, and we should be careful not to bring them back again.
Identity.
Therefore, when I got information that some of the family people wanted to have a decent reburial of the late, because I remember the pictures very well in the papers.
And ada ikarmano lokni kimiro yiko ladit brigade Okoya chal mo anabir kaneno gi karatach mo karangech.
But also I think sometimes it is somebody's day, the way God has planned something. Sometimes it is God's when God has planned something to happen. Because I don't know why, because these killers shot the wife who was bathing on the veranda. And I remember that the pictures, because I was that time about to finish university. I remember very things. Okoya had his Sten gun, a machine gun known as Sten gun. So he rushed out of the house to see what had happened to the wife. And those people who were already waiting, that's how they shot him. So one wonders what would have happened if you had taken cover inside the house. Because when you're inside the house, you can fight better than when you're out on the veranda. I think if he had stayed near the window, he may even have killed those people himself. But when there is a surprise and then you concern for the wife, I think he forgot about those precautions. But what many of these bad people don't remember is to know that there is God.
God is there watching.
Now all those who do these bad things, I mean, whatever, where are they? Even this character, I had never heard of him, this Raymond. they all ended up badly.
Paul Wang, Magido be right loyal.
And here we are remembering in appreciation, not Amin, not Raymond, but Okoya.
Eto de nen luak dan ko ni mo gore kan. Wa don chingwa wono. Luak dan mo gore kan. Pegiti ka po pia min nyolu nego Raymond gini ergiti ka po pi Okoya.
When Jesus was killed in Palestine, there were other people there.
Karma yetu noti Palestine chane. Dobu ken obetie.
There was the chief priest Kayafa.
No, domo ge luoge lep me mo ge luoge ni chief priest. No ben gitie.
We don't talk about Kayafa now.
Now, ikare ndonga winyu nyingi. Korijone ndonga winyu nyingi.
We talk about Jesus.
Donc loko loko yesu ke ken mano ti chungi yada.
And the disciples.
Kilo kwa na mega.
Even the ones who made mistakes but came back, like Peter, who was a bit of a coward, but he came back. So therefore, the people who do bad things should know that God is there. So now we have saluted the contribution of the late Okoya. And the memory. Now the challenge we have is we who are here now to do what should be done to bring up our people here. That's why I was very happy to hear the leaders talking of PDM, how it is.
Well, yeah, Paris Development Model, PDM,
finally picking up.
The
time has gone, I would have talked more. I think it is totally in order to build a technical school somewhere. In the memory of the late Brigadier Okoya.
Your Excellency, the family has already offered 10 acres of land for that project.
Thank you so much. We shall follow it up. Now, the Chikos Malum, I'm glad you got your tractor. You got 100 million. And I will make sure you get the other tractor also. And the families of the late Obama. Obama was a very good friend of mine in Tanzania, even when we were here in 1980.
They don't family pa Obama. Obama no la rematak mada. Ikiane mwaka liwechel miya bongwen. Pierre Bongwen.
So I have noted all those people that were mentioned, like Chinyera, our RDC. I thank you for the 50 acres. This will be used by State House to start a model,
State House.
A model farm here. I will not take the land myself, but I will use it for the State House to set up a demonstration farm.
State Farm.
The LC1 wants a motorcycle.
LC1 Bajaj.
Can you manage to get 5 million and give it to him so that he buys it?
LC1, if they come million big, where I will again. Piri. Okay, slowly. Oh no, Makome. Where do you put piano? Team gang LC of Pelare. One come on, baby, Gangiba. What for you? Thank you, Your Excellency.
The meeting of the actual elders, this one I have noted it.
Listen.
Meeting of the actual elders, I have noted it.
Legani, Lutiro me actually unu lego ni ko binu unyak tam kwera ka ki Latino justice windolo ana jolo lokelo ni.
And the issue of one constituency, that one we shall study and be in touch with you, Lakwara.
Unu waju ni constituency ma chwa dit ki pok e wachingi no ye chibena wakupa kedu meneno ngoma warama timone.
And finally, after the anthems, I would happily take a picture with the Women League. May the Almighty God rest in eternal peace the souls of Brigadier Okoya and Anna, the wife.
Walego Lubado were Tiupa, Brigadier Okoya, Kinkimin or the Ann, who you a coach.
Thank you. It's getting late. Let's get moving fast.
For my attack, 4 to 12. Let us war. I am aware. Lubaro.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Quickly, I would like to make the following announcements. From here, as we head to the graveside, we shall be led by the band, followed by the clergy, the casket, the family, Ruot, His Excellency the President, the VIPs present, and then the EPDF generals.
Before the procession, let me finish with these guards here.
Your Excellency, could we have the anthems first? Let's have the anthems, and then the President will take photos with the ladies.
Let us stand up for the national anthem.
the Women's League. I thank my co-MC. You have done a tremendous job.
General Felix, I thank you also for guiding me through this. You are more senior, and I think I've learned a lot. Your Excellency, as you receive the Women League for Palaro, we also want to let you know that the family of the late Felix Monokabi, a member of Pronanza, they are also here with us together with the family of the late Captain Lieutenant Oyuelo. The two of them were members of Pronanza. The two families are here.
From the barrio.
Let us do it lot by lot. Please, hold on.
From the barrio.
Hold on.
From the barrio, His Excellency will go to cut the ribbon for the house. Then you have a minute with the family.
So
the family will be joined by the CDF.
Sorry?
The family will be joined by the CDF. And then the Lieutenant General Charles Otema.
Lieutenant General Charles Otema.
These will include the Captain Retired Johnson Lajur,
retired Captain Johnson Lajur,
Samuel Okello, Mzee Binancio Omony, Clay Oriem,
Latin Talato,
Rosetta
Aparo, Lamelato,
Silva Ray Ochira,
Silva Ray Ochora, Silva Ray Ochora,
and Ruot Yusuf Adek.
Kadong Ruot Yusuf Adek, Liberi Kingi.
Afoyo.
Thank you. Wajolo da kopoiti pa menwa administrator pa NRM kuma ke iti maru mori koy mate ti jomo kare dicho aneno la mera atimango nansi ntie kai manda kumana da kaye koy aneno jomo kare awan da kita jois jomo kare na nansi lorbe wat ka ya don kapero komliye bu.